Come on in, come on in, take a seat, come on in. Everybody's coming in. Okay. All right, y'all. Yeah, I was trying to figure out if I was going to like save the live or not, but no, we're just going to not have that for the regular socials. If they weren't here watching that, they weren't here. And plus, it was a lot of dreamy things we don't need to talk about. But like I said, yeah, I deleted the dream one. I ain't share it. We don't have to talk about that with everybody. Maybe one day I'll do a live about dreams, but for now, that was just a special thing for the people that joined here, and not everybody needs to know that about my life. So at least y'all know. That's that. So yeah, we're about to welcome Star on here. Like I said, she's dope. She's incredibly talented. She's family. She has a beautiful family. And I'm just excited for her to share these things with y'all. So let me go ahead and add her to the live. I'm so excited, y'all. Okay, is it working? Is it working? Is it working? Hey!
We did it.
I know.
We did it. Hey, cousin.
You look gorgeous.
Thank you. I had to get it together for you real quick.
Get a little zhuzh.
Yeah, just for you. Now, mind
you, what do you
say? Friends are so mad that I've done locked myself in here, right? They are. Look, she's sticking stuff under the door. All right.
They said, "Let us get on the line."
Right. Hello.
But yeah, I'm happy that you are here.
Thank you.
I'm glad that we
here.
Yeah, people are going to be really excited to hear the things that you got to say, because I don't even think you know this, but like, you my cousin, but I'm like a stan of yours. I'm like, sis, just always on
Man, when I read that, I was like, that's crazy, because that's how I feel about you and your whole family, and just like, you guys are so inspirational, so driven, so beautiful. So to hear that, I'm like, dang, I really have that in them.
Yes.
It's
a really family thing. We all got that.
Yeah, it's definitely a family thing for sure.
Okay, so let me get my little questions up. Yeah. So I know earlier I spoke a little bit about, what you do as far as, you owning a really, all women ran tattoo shop and being a mother and stuff like that. But can you take some time to, let the people know, like, who is Star? I know we're family, and so I know you, but the people don't know you.
Right.
Give them a little background on you.
So my name is Tanisha, aka Star. I got the name Star from my entertainment days, and it stuck. And now, currently, I own an all-woman tattoo shop in Minneapolis, in the heart of Uptown. We've been open for about a month now. Okay. Are you gonna sit nice? Yeah. Okay. Otherwise, I'm kicking your butt out. Okay. Yeah, we've been open for about a month now, and it's super exciting, and I'm just so proud, so happy. And when I'm not managing the shop, I'm at home taking care of her siblings, house, and all that good stuff. So yeah.
Okay. Like I told y'all, she has all the things going on.
Yeah, always something.
And it just looks like you just balancing them so well and still pursuing and pushing your goals and vision forward. And so it's just.
Thank you. You don't have a choice, it's success is just not an option, so we got to balance it. Even when we're tired, but yeah, we make it happen.
Like I was saying, like I've just been watching you over the years, right? Like really pursue your passion and your talent, and like you always had this oomph that felt like she gonna be something. She doing something. She is something. You know what I mean? Like you've always had that even back when you was doing bodybuilding, and I was like,
Yeah,
I need
yeah,
to put it together. I need to, you know what I mean? Like you've always had that and so I
yeah.
was wondering, like, was that drive just natural to you, like that drive and
Yeah.
determination, or was there a particular moment that kind of gave you the courage and the confidence to kind of pursue the things that you wanted to do for
Right.
you?
That's a great question. I think I don't think I always had drive. That I think that was like one of my problems when I was younger. I always had an expectation that I was going to be something or somebody. But execution was just not something I really knew how to do.
Mm.
So I did have a lot of moments where I would doubt myself and I wasn't sure where life was gonna take me. So no, it wasn't like this, like I just always was driven. But I was always searching and trying to figure it out. Like, is this the thing? Nope, this isn't the thing, so but yeah, I've had high expectations for myself, and in the last, I'd say, 5 years or so, it was more like, okay, this your only life. This is the only one I get. If I don't make something out of this, what's life gonna be for my kids, and how can I live with myself if I don't, am I gonna be 60 years old like, girl, you didn't do nothing with your life, good, so it was just like, girl, you better figure it out, because no one's gonna figure it out for me, so
That's real.
I dug deep. And things just, things started to work out and come together. So yeah, and I consider this just the beginning. I think like 10 years, God willing, I have a lot more under my belt.
I already know it's true. I can already feel that in you. Like, what
Yeah.
I love is, like, I feel like I was telling them earlier how I'm queen of a pivot. Like, I can pivot really good. But I feel like you're also a person who can pivot when needed. Like, when you're pursuing something and you like, oh, this ain't it. I'm about to,
Right.
you
That's
know what I mean?
right. Yeah. And I think that's being just multi-talented, multi-dimensional, which is just something I've kind of always been. And I do feel like is almost genetic, because I see it in not just me, but like my siblings, you guys, my extended family. There is just an energy about the people that come from this family that is just like so brilliant and so impactful, and it's like anyone who comes to know one of us, it's like it's memorable, and so I guess I just didn't want to waste that type of energy.
Mm-hmm. It's like we were talking about gifts earlier, right?
Yeah,
We
yeah,
all have certain gifts, and it's up to us to determine what we want to do with them,
right.
and
Oh,
how we want to pursue them.
right.
Um, so I'm just looking at little baby, just
Oh, I know. She
so
is.
cute. No, this is a baby friendly space.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yep.
Here, we are here. Um, but yeah, even when it comes to tattoos, like, you've always been really creative, right, and able to draw. Like, I remember you having you putting up like sketches. I think it was like an elephant one time, and like different
Yeah,
sketches you would put up.
yeah.
I'd be looking, but like different sketches
Yes,
you've
I
been
remember
putting
that
up.
one. That's one of
And you've always been incredibly brilliant with that. But what drove you to pursuing tattooing?
Yeah, so I have always had a talent for art, not always an interest, but a talent. I was in the honors art program in high school. When I did go to the University of Minnesota, I was majoring in art and design for
Oh.
a moment. But as a young person, I didn't know how to bring that to life. I couldn't pick, I didn't know where that career was going to bring me. So I did end up dropping out of school. That's when I started dancing. So fun. I know it's crazy, but like it really was dancing that got me to where I am right now. Because before that, I was waiting tables, I was in college. But I never worked for myself. I didn't know I didn't even know you could do, like, wait, I can make all my own money and, decide when I go to work. And so dancing was like the precursor to that determination to be like, I want to do what I want to do when I want to do it and how I want to do it. So when I started dancing, I knew it wasn't something I wanted to do long term, but I was like, okay, girl, what you gonna do? And like I had a friend who was a dancer, and she started doing eyelashes, right? So I would get my eyelashes done from her, and this was like 5 years ago, like before lashes were even like big, but she would do them from her home and when she could. And I know what I'm paying for them. I'm like, shoot, she gotta be making some good money, so I was just like, all right, Tini, so what can you do? Like, what's your talent? So I really was just like brainstorming mentally, like what do I like? So, and I'm like, it's art, it's always been art. And tattooing was like that click, girl. I never had a click my whole life. And I've done a lot of things. I'm good at I'm good at quite a few things, but that tattooing was just like, that's it. So, I went on to do an apprenticeship that didn't, but the apprenticeship kind of like pushed me even more into the part of the industry I wanted to be in, which was like, more women need to be here, more Black women need to be here. So, yeah. And
oh no. Am I frozen or is she frozen? Y'all gotta let me know at the bottom. I'm assuming I'm frozen because nobody said nothing.
on and off, but
is it me?
Yeah, when I hit that. Oh,
my bad. We're back.
Hold on. You know what? I gotta make sure. Girl, I just realized something too.
Okay. Come on back. Yes.
All right, my Wi-Fi is on. Good. But yeah, so that's really what got me into it. I really enjoyed working for myself and choosing my own hours. That with the addition of like seeing like a talent in something, not just clocking in and clocking out, but like creating, like to add to the world is like an amazing feeling. Like, so, yeah. And so I'm still doing it. And yeah, I love it here.
Yeah. And I can tell that the people that the work that you're doing for, they love it there too, because they, oh my God, the y'all like she's fire, especially with the portraits and stuff.
Oh yeah, I love a portrait. I love portraits. I love creating. I love imitating what I see on skin. Definitely a lot of different more styles I want to get into, but I built my career on being good at different sorts of tattoos and not just one style. And that's where I still am today. It's just like you walk in my shop and you want something. Doesn't matter who you are, how old you are, what skin tone you are. I'm gonna give you exactly what you want. And I pride myself on that because I hear too often stories about Black women going into a tattoo shop and asking for the simplest tattoo, and the old white guy saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, I can't do that," or "That's not my style," or "You're too dark," or this, whatever the case is, and it's just like blatantly disrespectful and just a lack of knowledge, and a lack of patience or care. So it's like, I think to myself sometimes, like, I wish I was my own tattoo artist, So that's what I aim to be, is just like an artist for everyone. I'm here to create and serve, and I pray that everybody leaves happy and satisfied. Yeah.
How was it working in I know you did an apprenticeship earlier, right? Like working in a very male dominated space as a Black woman. Like, I know there had to be ego clashes.
Girl, right. So that's kind of going off what I said before about how doing my apprenticeship, even in a black owned shop, black male shop, like really really pushed me to like realize what a huge need there was for black women in the industry, more visible black women in the industry. And I don't want to say that like we aren't in the industry. We definitely are.
Mm-hmm.
Visibility is slim, but you know, it kind of, I mean, the shop is an extension of real life. So it's you know, I wasn't respected so much as an artist. You know, there was the harassment and blatant disrespect and just, you know, yeah, and that's not for me. It just wasn't for me, you know. I spent 2-3 years as a dancer, putting up with a lot of crap in the club, and I just knew like when it came to tattoos, I was gonna not take no shit. Like you had to pay me for that shit back in the club, you know. But I'm not working for dollars now. You know, I'm creating, and I demand the respect. I demand respect in this industry, and so yeah, that's something that feels super powerful to me. And just to be able to compete with the boys, you know, like I've always been super competitive, especially with men. Really, only men. I don't know. It's just something about like I just always have felt like if a man can do it, I can definitely do it, you know? So it definitely does that for me. Like I just, you know, I don't get a lot of like backlash or envy verbally, visibly, but I know them dudes is watching like, oh, this girl, I'm tired of her, you know? I'm always bringing some heat. So, and you know, I never wanted to be like, oh, she's only successful because she's pretty or because she used to dance or you know all the things that come with that. I'm like I'm going to get in this industry and I'm bringing my A game because no one will be able to say that my success came from anything besides the talent that I have. So that was always super important to me too. So.
Anything besides you, that's beautiful. It really is though. Like being in a all male, like a very, I don't know, it's not all male, right? But a highly male dominated space. And getting to a point where you're like, no, like I determine the rules around here. I determine how you show up in my space, and really
exactly.
That's something that a lot more of us can do and should do.
Yeah, definitely.
In our everyday lives, right?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, and I have no shame in it. You know, demanding respect doesn't mean that you're disrespecting other people, and that's something I had to learn as an adult. I've always been super passive, and I applaud women that can be aggressive and be, you know, like, you know, I definitely respect that. I don't think women have to show up all the time and be jolly, happy, passive, do what you want, you know, like that's super important to just like really stand your ground no matter where you are, what you do, not being afraid of being labeled the angry black woman or whatever it is, you know. It's like I love that. I love that about black women, that we demand the respect that we deserve, even when the world keeps telling us we don't. You know, we shouldn't. So, and that's just how I'm trying to show up, and that's how I want my daughter to show up. Like this feisty little girl, she does what she wants to do. So
really commanding the world around us, and like showing up fully as a black woman in every space that we encounter, that we're in. Like it's important. So I see in here, my mom was like, I saw you on Chicago Tattoo Ink, and she got the name.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like so many of us, you know, the journey wasn't really easy, right? Like I remember you being on Black Ink Chicago in 2020, but then COVID.
A couple years ago now.
2
years ago, yeah.
COVID hit and really changed those plans. Like, can you speak more on that and how you kind of push through the various like setbacks? I put quotations up because they're not always setbacks. Sometimes help us prepare for something new.
Yeah, you know, that was, if I will admit, that was that was that was sad, you know. And I had moments where I was just like, dang, like what would my stop? Why are you doing that? What would my life look like had my you're about to leave, remember what I said about sitting nice? Remember? Sit nice or you're going outside, out the door. Okay. Um but yeah, in the beginning I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know if I was going back to the show. Um and then when I did realize like, you know, I wasn't going back on it, it really was like, wow, what are the chances, you know? Of course, being on a television show, a national television show, like Black Ink is life changing, right? And I definitely had plans of like how I was going to expand my business and how I was going to use that to promote myself and get rich, right?
Right.
And it was just super exciting, and it confirmed, you know, all the work that I put in. So when COVID happened and I realized we weren't going back to filming, um, I had to readjust, and I didn't make the best choices right after that, as far as staying in Chicago and staying in my past relationship. And it was a lot of back and forth, a lot of ups and downs, a lot of doubt, um, and having to figure it out again. So, but the beautiful thing about tattooing is just like it saves me from everything. Always, always has. So I have tattooing to fall back on. And I just kept pushing. I kept tattooing. I kept working. And it was actually beneficial for the world to kind of like slow down a little bit, that I had a chance to get ahead, in an odd way. Yeah, COVID hit and we were definitely stagnant for some months. But I used that time to create, and once the shops opened back up, I was able to travel back and forth from Chicago to Minneapolis and tattoo. And I kept my name in the spotlight, you know, and even though I hadn't been on the show fully, just that little bit of clout helped my name stay out in the forefront and in the public. So luckily, business didn't slow down, and just all the love that I got back in Minnesota, like I finally was like, okay, I need to go back, move back to Minnesota. And then yeah, so you know, I kept tattooing, my work kept getting better, and you know, that's when I kind of started to think like I need to do something bigger, you know, and that's when I was like, I'm ready to have a shop. You know, I didn't know if the shop was going to come in a year, 2 years. I didn't know, but it was a goal. Black Ink reached out to me a couple of times to see if I wanted to come work in Charmaine's shop, which would mean that I worked in her shop as an artist, but would transition eventually back on the show, which that offer wasn't good enough for me. And it was offered twice. And you know, I had really good support around me and people who loved me. And so when I brought it up, you know, like, hey, they're asking me again. Everyone's like, no, you can do this on your own. You can build something better. You don't need the show. And I mean, I believe that too, you know. And so I wasn't so desperate for fame and attention. You know, I'm like, where's the money at?
Right.
Where's the money at? You know, so that's what it was for me. You know, I appreciate them reaching out again, and who knows what that could have turned into, but I didn't want to sell my soul for a few pennies, and just be this person on television who I wasn't. And, you know, that's permanent. My daughter will see that one day, and it's just like, it wasn't worth it to me, you know. The little experience was great, and that's probably like God probably gave that to me because he's like, this is all you need, you know. And then it was easy to choose my path after that. It's like, this isn't for me, you know, like it's a lot of fake stuff. It's a lot of acting, a lot of having to portray yourself as something you're not. And I'm just like, no, we're elevating. I'm not doing this.
I love that.
It was a cool experience. You know, it was, It was very Hollywood. It was very like celebrity. Like it was, the experience was cool. It was fun, and I'm glad I got to do it.
But I like what you said, right? Where like one, you were able to create like I need to where I've set myself up to a point where doing this show is not going to affect my trajectory. I'm already on this certain path.
Right.
And so now I can make decisions and decide whether I want you in my life or not, right?
Right.
And I love that you were able to, like during the pandemic, you were able to put yourself in that position, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like you said, you took time, like the world kind of stopped. And so you were able to take time, figure out what you want, plan and plot, get better on your craft. And so you didn't need nobody else. It's like, I got this on my own.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's really good. And then I also like what you said around maybe that's why God just gave me the little bit. It was like, you don't need all the shit that comes with that.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of things that happen in life, they're always teaching moments, and it's like, if I hadn't been through everything I'd been through, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. So I don't dwell on things that don't work out. I just, and I'm a faithful person, as in like, especially since my mom passed, I really truly believe that like there are hands on me. There's things bigger than me that are going to make sure I learn from the things that don't work out, and I find my path always. So yeah, that's it.
Oh, this is something I really want to ask you about, because I know we were just talking about COVID and how COVID forced everybody to sit down, and it also wreaked a lot of havoc on our mentals.
Yeah.
Everybody, I feel like it was a lot. One, you're stuck in the house by yourself. It's a lot of anxiety. It's a lot of new changing plans and things and adjustments. And it just created a lot of like just mental health. I don't want to say crises, but things that we need to pay attention to, And what I really loved about you is I saw you create boundaries for yourself. Where there are times where you like, hey guys, I'm not doing this.
Yeah. Mental health. Yeah. With or without COVID, mental health and mine specifically. Right. Okay, girl. Okay. So, that's something that, as an adult, I really started to think about and consider, we don't always recognize like the signs of depression and anxiety and things like that. Growing up, I just thought like, oh, you're just lazy, or, the negative thoughts of not being good enough, not being worthy, just kind of living in fear and just not pushing and not having the drive and not having the mental capacity to take on the day. I struggled with that a lot, like from the time I went to college until, up till today, it's still something that I work on. But as I got older, I started to realize how important it was. Like, girl, if you don't get your mental together, you can't get anything together. So I knew that it was something I had to fight for. And no one was just going to come open my door and say, here's the number to this. I made your appointment. Here's this, that. You'll be better in 6 months. No one was going to do that. So in my darkest moments, like and I've been there, and I have no shame in admitting it. And I hope by me telling my story that someone can watch this and be like, oh, okay, I can get out of this. But in my darkest moments, which have been dark, where, I'm wishing that I don't want to be on the earth anymore, though, when I got to that place where I was just like, I don't want to live, that scared me, because I know how much I love my kids, and like I know I want to be here for them. That was like my moment where I was like, girl, get it together. So, and I was working on that through COVID. And so the slowdown was super beneficial because I had no choice but to sit in the house and book appointments for the therapist and see a psychiatrist and um, like entertain things that can help me feel better. Yeah, I was a little stir crazy, but um, still, I'm a homebody anyways. And I think the problem is just like because my choice was getting taken away. Like I know I'm not gonna go outside, but I can't even decide to go outside if I want to go outside. But no, yeah, COVID helped me get my mental together and just with all the things happening in life, that's when I was just like, come on, girl, be strong, get it, fix it, do what you got to do, and that's what I did, and I did set those boundaries, when I was just like, I can't do it, y'all. I can't, I let my customers know that I am just one person. I am human. I work hard when I can, but when I need my breaks, I need them. But I'm glad I put that work in then, because now my mental health is just. I wake up every day just like so happy, like girl, like so normal, and then just like feeling like myself. And it took years to get there, and it's like so many of us don't even know that we're sick because we're just, we're stuck with those thoughts where we think we're just not good enough, we're not smart enough, we're not and we're watching our people on social media being amazing, and we're just like, oh well, forget me, I'm just, and I was like, I can't give up, I cannot give up, Tanisha. If you give up, then what, so yeah, yeah.
It's just important that we take the time
Oh
to
yeah.
that we need and not be embarrassed about
Oh
it.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
definitely. And on the embarrassment, I think that's one of the reasons I am I share my story, because it's so often we are just stuck in the dark and we feel like we're the only one that has these feelings, the only one that's going through these things. Um, and just growing up, I always needed that one person that was like, that I saw myself in. So I'm just praying that like I'm that person for somebody else, like, yeah, and they can relate and do what they got to do. So, and know that there's, that they're not those negative thoughts that they think they are.
I will say you and you don't even know this, but you inspired me. Like back when I was seeing you create real boundaries. Like, y'all, I'm not in the mood to do this today. I will reschedule. If you need a refund for weekend, right? Like,
yes.
I was working a highly stressful job. I had gotten so used to just doing what needed to be done. I didn't realize I was living in a state of like constant survival, right? Like I was having ridiculous amount of anxiety, and I didn't know it was anxiety. I thought it was just my normal state, right? I didn't know I was going through it. And so when I saw creating real boundaries, I was like, dang.
Yeah.
I love that she was unapologetic in that. Let me tell them, like I was starting to suffer with my anxiety was manifesting itself in like migraines, and I would have visual issues. And I would still work, meaning like I might not be able to see things that well. And I was still working, and I was like, let me set my boundary. Y'all, I'm not coming in. And matter of fact, let me go ahead and tell y'all that I'm going to take 3 weeks off because I need it for my mental health because this job is stressing me. And they had to do it. Right?
Yeah.
And so like being able to see you be unapologetic about that and sharing it in the open, I know that it had to inspire people because it inspired me myself just looking at it.
That's awesome. I'm glad, but yeah, you have to set your own boundaries for yourself. Like I said, because no one's going to do it for us. And blessed that I'm in a position where, I can choose for myself. But that, I'm happy I have that career path. And yeah, I don't believe in waking up in a world every day where I don't want to get up and I don't want to go to work and I don't want to, it's just like, I know. And I knew that's not what life is about. This cannot possibly be life where I'm waking up and clocking in and I'm miserable I'm just like, I don't think that's, you know, the life for anyone. I mean, if that's where they fit in and that's where we feel like, you know, we find our comfort. But that's why I chose to do what I do. It's just like, I can't do it. I can't do it. So yeah.
With that being said, what inspired you to really take the things with your shop to the next level, right? And not just any shop, but you know, like a women ran, like all Black women ran shop.
Yeah. So it was just an idea, something I thought about for years. I never knew how it would, you know, come to actually be. Um, I had just reached a place in my career where I didn't want to work from home anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't. So, um, so the leap was initially just supposed to be a leap from out of the home and into a working space.
Mm-hmm.
And then with my partner, you know, it just kept growing, and it was kind of like, why stop there, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so one plan turned into a bigger plan, turned into a bigger plan, till we were like, hey, we have full shot, you know. And lucky for me, you know, I have a partner who like is team Tanisha, like makes my dreams come true. Like we're a really good team. We work things out really well together. I'm the creative and he is the doer. So, like a match made in heaven. And so that's how it all came together. And then, you know, that came together so well that I was just like, oh, babe, we're not going to stop. We're about to have another shop, another shop. Any type, you know, we want our hands on more things. But, yeah, that's really how it happened. So, yeah, it wasn't this big, like, okay, it's time to have a shop. It was just like a small transition that kept growing because we had the drive and the means.
Mm-hmm.
And it was backed by a lot of support, which was shocking.
I don't know why you shocked. I'm about to say
it was shocking. It was. I've always been a modest person, you know, and probably my biggest critic. I always am like, oh, it can be better, it can be bigger. So for the community to show up the way they did for the shop was like, wow. And our artists, you know, I had emails and emails and emails of girls wanting to join the team. So,
wow.
Dang. So yeah.
Wow. I love the point you made about like having a supportive partner while you're on this journey.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And you all being able to complement each other where, like you said,
Yeah.
you're the creative and he is the doer, right? And
Yeah.
so together you all are able to help one another manifest your dreams and your goals.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he always has to tell me that too. I'm always like, thank you. Oh my gosh, you're so. And he's like, no, you are the exact same thing for me too. You know, so it is. It's we're building each other up. You know, he wanted to slow down and have the stability and business and stuff too. So it's like, yeah, it's been beneficial for both of us and amazing that it's been so healthy and so easy. Because, you know, I've just never had that before. And I'm just like, wow. Yeah.
So that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, right?
Other live, I was
right.
about, somebody asked me about like, you know, how's things going with you? Do you have something? And I do, and it's great. It's great, right? And it's very healthy, and it's very easy, and it's
right.
And
like, whoa.
Right, and it's like,
right.
I wish I could have told younger Khadijah, like,
right. Right, I know. Like, how did it take this long? But
things happen.
That's life. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know, things happen how they're supposed to, and then sometimes, you know, our people show up when they're supposed to, you know, and give us the inspiration to to do what we need to do.
Be ourselves and do what
Yeah.
You're about to leave, Amaya. One leaf.
So, many of us are really looking to define our own stories. Like, what advice would you give someone who is wanting to pursue their gift full time?
Oh, I had an answer for this, and I forgot what it was. Um, it wasn't something generic like just do it, because no. But someone wanting to pursue their dreams or their talents, explore that full time. Yeah, of course, you have to take the leap. One thing I've learned about life is nothing happens on a schedule. Like nothing is like, okay, this is all set up perfectly. Boom, we're ready to go. Nothing in life works that way. And I feel like if you, I mean, it's okay if you do, if your life is formed that way. But sometimes I feel like opportunities can be missed if we're always waiting for the right time, because there's never a right time.
That's a word.
Right? So it's just like, yes, take the leap, and something and someone will catch you. There will be clients. There will be good and bad days. You just have to decide where you're happier. Am I happier, doing my own thing, being my own boss? But, there's these other negatives where some days I don't make a lot of money, or, my back hurts, or whatever it is, or, am I happier with the structure of, a 9 to 5, stuff like that. Entrepreneurship was like, I remember reading the word when I was like 15. I was in the bathroom, and my parents had like a magazine, and it said entrepreneurship on it, and I didn't even know what that meant. I was like, I'm like looking through the book. I'm like, oh, it's like something that super smart people do, and like make their own money, right? So like the way I defined it and understood it was just like, oh, that's scary. I don't know, we can do that, but it's not, right? It's not scary. Super accessible. It is what we make it. Be a little fearless. You gotta be a little fearless, and do it.
And trust in that process.
Yeah, at least and at least trust yourself enough to keep getting up and keep getting up. When you fall, get up again. Keep going. Don't quit.
Yeah. It's not always going to be easy, and it might not be easy at all. But it's about you going up every day and watching the path unfold. I was telling people earlier on live that it's a year anniversary since I've been in my apartment. And mind you, I've always lived with other people. This is my first time having my own space, and I don't it's a studio apartment. It's a nice space in a really part of town, and you're
in Atlanta, right?
And so it's a good feeling to be here. And if I'm being honest, 3 years ago I would have been like, ain't no way you about to be living here, right? And not only that, but it's been about 6 to 7 months since I have been doing consulting on my own. So I don't work for anybody else. And so I'm like, wow, you've been surviving, right? And paying your own bills.
Period.
And at first you were nervous and you were scared, but you got up every day and made the choice to keep going. And because of that, opportunities were just presented. And even with a lot of the things that I do now are a lot more creative and social media driven and content. And it's interesting because beforehand I did a lot of executive assistant work, so it wasn't necessarily the same. But what people started to see is that when I started posting things for Spiritual with the Bag, my page now, and really posting that, people noticed that I had a gift there, and they're like, "Oh, I love your graphics. I love what you're creating."
Oh God.
That.
Speaking of, I'm gonna speak. Okay, so girl, I'm scrolling through Instagram, and I see this video, and it's a baddie. And Megan Thee Stallion sauce thing, right? Something like that. And I'm like, oh, this is a very this is cute, this is sexy, and I liked it. Girl, why did I not even know it was you?
Really?
Like, oh my God. But I've seen your videos, your presence on social media, like it's the bomb. Like it's the bomb. And I'm like, if I wasn't your cousin, I still would be like, ooh, I like her and follow and enjoy, you know. So I think that's so awesome and congratulations. And I love to see you here. I'm like, this is so perfect for her. Like it's just so natural. I love your videos. Yeah, it's awesome.
And it feels good to do. Like you said, showing up doing something that you love, you know.
Right.
I'm hoping to get to a point where Spiritual with the Bag, like there's a bag attached to it. Like right now, you know, my consulting work is what's paying the bills. But I was telling everybody, like a year from now, like the goals that I'm creating a year from now, this is paying my bills.
Oh yeah,
right? In some way, shape, or form.
Absolutely.
And so like
it's not gonna be a year, girl. It's gonna be way before that, but absolutely. And that is an amazing feeling to be paid to do something you're talented at and that you like doing. It's a different type of paycheck. Like it's nothing like it. So congrats. You will get there very soon. So yeah.
You inspired me for sure, especially while on this entrepreneur journey.
You can cut out your nose because you're gonna get it stuck. Girl, cut it out.
You know how many times I got to be stuck in my nose?
I was like 6 and it got stuck. I had to go to the hospital in the middle of the night and get it taken out. Don't put beads in your nose.
Well, so we've definitely all been there, or tried to help a child get the bead out their nose.
Oh my gosh, that thing was up here.
So I have 2 more questions, right? So after everybody's kind of heard about what you've accomplished and you have going with the tattoo shop,
Baby, I'm not
what's next for you?
Ooh, oh yeah. So right now our shop is tied to a Black-owned beauty clothing boutique that's connected upstairs. We are, you know, we're kind of in, we're having a discussion about purchasing that business. And so it's on. Fingers crossed.
Yes,
make it happen. And when it was presented to us, I started to think about it like, why not? You know, why not? Why couldn't I own a boutique and a tattoo shop? And why can't we, you know, run both? And then what's next from there? And then also, you know, my partner, he's working on a nonprofit, Fathers Against Slain Children. You know, his son, Marquez, was killed 3 years ago. He was shot and killed. So he wants to provide, you know, a space for grieving fathers, you know, and aid to heal communities. So that's his next project, but also ours, because of course we do everything together. And then, you know, that got me thinking too about just my journey, you know, from foster care to domestic violence and then to success. And, you know, if I could get my hands on something that would benefit women who are struggling in that area, you know, with domestic violence and you know, even aging out of foster care, you know, and just be, you know, something that women in that position can know that they're not by themselves and that they can turn things around, they can find success. You know, so that's what we're working on. And then from there, I'm sure a bunch more stuff. That's where we are right now. So yeah, and it feels really good. So yeah.
I love all of those plans.
Yeah.
I love that, you know, you're pursuing your businesses, but you are also thinking about your community and ways to give back and ways to help assist other people. It's important as Black people that we do that.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I guess I just look at it from the point of view of like what I needed as a child, what I needed as a young mother, and not seeing it, you know, and not seeing it. And so I just, you know, if my story can help one person like, goal accomplished. We're good. That's kind of how I look at it. So, and you know, when you're someone who's in a leadership position, whether you ask for it or not, um, the community is always looking, you know, looking and seeing how I present myself, what my views are on certain things, and it would be absolutely irresponsible if I didn't take a stand on things that were important, vocalize those things, or try to give back. Um, because I'm very pro Black community, like it would be, you know, it would make sense for me to not put my hand back. So, yeah, you know, it's not like, oh, let me, you know, I'm not going to be no savior, but it's just an organic reaction to what I'm doing in life and how I want to be presented and how I could help young people, because I hear it all the time, you know, oh, but like I'm doing my own thing, but then to get a message like, oh, you're inspiring, that touches me, and I'm just like, that's so important, you know. And so, yeah.
It's important for people to be able to see someone who looks like them succeed, right? And so it allows for them to visualize, like, oh, I can do this too, right? She looks like me, right? She might have went through, like you said, you know, like she might have went through certain things, and this is where her life is now. Like, I can do that too. I can bring myself out of that place. And I feel like you have a lot of different points for people to connect with, whether, like you said, it's the you know, the mental health aspect, where it's like, you know, she really went after what she needed, and I can do it myself. Or you know, even domestic violence, and it's like, okay, she changed, you know, her life changed, and like, I can do that too. And so it's just a lot of different inspiration there. You're true to your name, Star.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I didn't choose that name. The girls at the club gave me that name, and I guess it was fitting.
They saw something in you.
Right.
It's easy to see that. You know what I mean?
Thank you, honey. Thank you.
You got the glow. All right, last question.
All right.
So I ask everybody, all my guests, the same question. If you had the opportunity to speak to your future self, and this is like you 10 years in the future, like right now, what would you say?
I would say, I got us. I got us. And I say that because when I think of where I am now, and even though I'm just getting my foot in my career and I'm just starting to find that real success, I look back at my old self and I think about all the little things that she did, right? Like, good thing she took care of that back then, and that and that and that, because if she hadn't, I wouldn't be here. So I would say to my future self, I got us, because I'm gonna do all those little things now and in the next few months, next few years, and hopefully my 50-year-old self can be like, girl, remember when you know, and she did it, I did it, you know, we did it. So that's what I would say. And then to my past self, I would say, good girl. Good girl. So yeah, definitely that.
I love your response. That's actually one of the first times I've gotten a response like that. People are usually, you know, they're varying different degrees, but some people are like, oh, thank you, I see you, like that kind of thing. But it's like, I got us. Like, I'm going to do the things necessary for us to be where you are. Like, you ain't got to worry. Like, I'm going to take care of those things. And that's important because it's also a reminder just to those watching, you know, to make sure that they're doing those things in their lives as well. So that way, when they, you know, if they were ever to get the opportunity to see their you know, future selves, or to get to that point, it's like they're taking care of the little things that need to be done. They're making those necessary decisions to get out of certain situations, or to, like, even make me think about like when I left my job, a great job, you know, I worked for an amazing organization. My old client, she's great. Like, it was great, but I needed something more.
Right.
And so making that scary choice has led for me to be here now, right? And so like you said, making those choices for yourself so you can show up in the future and be who you show up for yourself and be who you are.
Exactly. And it's not like like, oh, I'm putting money aside for my 401k or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's more just like waking up and doing the things you got to do, and those things collectively and gradually come together, and your future self is the one that gets the benefit from it, even though I don't think of it like that, like, oh, let me get my future self together. No, it's like, let me get this stuff together, and then we'll bask it in the future. So yeah, but yeah.
I love it. I really like that tidbit. You brought a different perspective to that.
Awesome.
I'm pretty sure the thing that I share. I always share different pieces from the live, and I'm like, I think that people need to be able to hear that. Awesome. But yeah, girl, like, I'm grateful that you joined.
I'm so happy to be here.
And you did this interview with me, like. I've said this on a few lives, but I've created a list of people who I wanted to interview, and you were on that list just because I just watched you, and I'm like,
yes, that feels amazing. That's so amazing to me, and that again is like one of those things, like the response to what I'm doing, like it's amazing. It feels amazing, but it's like it still surprises me. Like, wow, like y'all is really watching. Y'all really think this is cool. Like, okay, because of course I'm enjoying myself and I'm happy to be here. But it's like to see that people care and are inspired, or at least just inspired to watch. And I'm like, dang, that's so cool. Yeah. And I hope quality, continue to be the best version of myself and continue to inspire women to be their best selves. So. And men. Yeah.
But all y'all can benefit from this.
Right.
Yeah. And Bag Talk is really all about that, right? Us being able to sit down and have these conversations that inspire others to hopefully think outside of the box and think about how they see themselves and how they show up in their own lives.
That's what I was thinking. Like word for word, what I was thinking.
Like,
and I love that. And that's why I was so excited, because obviously, like, as Black women, we collectively come together in a different energy than we do outside of that. So it's always relationships with other Black women is like always like so much more like natural, comfortable. So I definitely was looking forward to it, because I knew I could come in here and be myself with a little my.
Right. Hey, girl.
She sees her hand. She's playing with her. But
yeah, I'm grateful. Thank you for joining us.
So welcome. I'm going to go make dinner. Super late dinner. Black people eat dinner at 10 o'clock. So we're going to go do that. And I really appreciate it. Let me know when you have another one. I'm game. I'm down.
I definitely and one of these days, like I told you, I have not gotten another tattoo yet, because I really am going to come to you.
Oh,
so
yeah, please. Make a trip.
I'm going to make a trip.
Yeah.
In less than 2 years, I'm making a trip. I'm getting
amazing. Yeah, that'd be so cool. All right. I'm out of here.
Okay. Thank you. Bye. And y'all enjoy your night.
Okay, you too. Say bye.
Right.
Bye.
Bye. Y'all, I appreciate y'all rocking with me. I know this live went a little longer than expected, because we had a little time mishap, but y'all still showed up and y'all still tuned in and you still listened. And so I'm just incredibly grateful. I love having this space, a space where we as Black people can come together and share gems from our own lives, and we can be inspired from one another and really see ourselves and our sister, no matter the background. And, that's just important. And so I am grateful that I have this space. Yeah, it just makes me happy. I will say that with that being said, next week we're gonna go on a break. This is gonna be probably the only break that I take in a goddamn probably this whole year. This might be the only time I take a break on a Wednesday. But next week we're gonna take a break with episodes. But because we're gonna take a break, I'm gonna do a little something special during the week. So look out for that. You know, maybe a giveaway, maybe something else. I don't really know. But next week we'll have a break. But then the week after that, we have back-to-back great guests that are coming. Like we have Malia, who will be joining us. That's our next guest after this, and she will be speaking about, you know, how to get over that creative block, like spiritually, and also her journey in the music industry. And so that's another great person. And then after that, we will have someone who will be speaking on Black men and mental health, right, and the importance of therapy. Excuse me. So we just have a lot of great topics, a lot of amazing people. Someone else will be speaking about grief, and we just gonna keep them going back to back to back to back. Next week is a break. But like I said, we're gonna do something special to make up for that break. But I appreciate y'all joining. I appreciate y'all actually being here and listening and like staying in this thing. I'm incredibly grateful. And yeah, I shall see y'all not next week, but the week after that. Stay blessed, stay Black, stay fabulous, and I love y'all. Oh, and if I say I love y'all like I know y'all, but the ones in here, I do know y'all, so I love y'all. But if you know someone who wants to be on Bag Talk, or you feel like they have a good story or something to tell, send them my way. Send me a nice little DM. I would love to have them on here so we can have these deep, magical, sisterhood-based conversations, because that's where the magic lies. So, and that's where growth happens. So, all right, y'all. Y'all have a great night.